Greetings. I'm Molly Jahn. I'm a new member of the CIMMYT board, and I come from the University of Wisconsin, where I'm on the faculty in the Department of Agronomy and also served as Dean at the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. And it was in that role that I became aware of the incredible impact of the career of Henry A. Wallace. He came from the state next door, Iowa, and he was a plant breeder. He had demonstrated through plant breeding the incredible impact of a technological innovation on the condition of farmers and farming. And it was on that base, the foundation of the seed company Pioneer, that President Roosevelt, recognized him and selected him to serve as his Secretary of Agriculture. In that role, Henry Wallace continued to passionately advocate for the American farmer, but connected to a president deeply committed to recovery from the Depression, Wallace looked south of the border, and under Roosevelt's policies of Pan-Americanism and the Good Neighbor policy, had the idea to extend this investment in agricultural research in service to farmers and all those who depend on farmers to Mexico. So in late 1940, H.A. Wallace traveled to Mexico, returned, and convinced the Rockefeller Foundation and the Ford Foundation ultimately to invest in this agricultural research station and a number of others around the world that have become the CGIAR. It was also Wallace who handpicked an Iowa agronomist, Norman Borlaug, to come and lead that station. And as they say, the rest is history. We understand from that vision that Wallace brought to Mexico and ultimately to the world, the opportunity that lies at CIMMYT today and looking forward. Wallace was, in fact, an agricultural scientist. He was an innovator. He was an agricultural technologist, but he also brought values of equality and justice and inclusivity to every task he undertook. And it is that combination that is a strong science and technology foundation, visionary commitments to what the future may bring, in the context of those values of equity and sovereignty, that I think the promise of the CIMMYT 2030 strategy lies. This strategy has been built in a deeply inclusive, deliberate way. It has deliberately ensured that the voices of those of you who are newest in these communities are heard, since you are the ones that will carry this vision the farthest. And it is a strategy that both plays to historic strengths and the historic commitments, and lifts our eyes in deep, familiar, and new partnerships to the future. The importance of success, according to this strategy, cannot be overstated. Just as Wallace's vision, Wallace's idea that he brought back to the US, got a little bit of money, and here we are today, that the power of that vision is even more relevant to this century than it was in the 20th century. This is a century where we understand that as a species, we are butting up against limits that we couldn't imagine in Wallace's day, but that are very present on the mind of any farmer anywhere in the world. The CIMMYT 2030 strategy takes into account both the potential and a sophisticated consideration of the context within which we are all working. So it is both Henry Wallace's vision and his commitment and the execution on that foundation evident in your strategy that the great promise of CIMMYT's future lies. I thank you for your attention and welcome your work on the 2030 strategy.